Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Hornpod, the Horn Pedagogy Podcast,
where we put the fun in fundamentals.
We are your hosts. I'm John Turman.
And I'm Danielle Kuhlmann.
And today we are going to talk all about notes.
We are going to talk about how you get from one note to another note, which really seems simple, but somehow... Anyway, we'll get there.
We will get there. But first, let's do a little horn check-in. Danielle, how are you doing this week?
Thank you, John. I'm doing well. It's Halloween today.
Yes.
It's my favorite holiday. I'm really excited. So that's fun. I finally watched the entirety of K-pop Demon Hunters last night. So I'm really excited about that. And I will tell you, the way I cried, okay, no spoilers. But when Jinu says his little bit at the end, I
got chills.
Sobbing.
Oh my gosh.
It is great. And I couldn't stop singing the songs, much to my 4-year-old daughter's dismay.
Well, I bet you sounded amazing on them. Well, Danielle, what are you going to be for Halloween this year?
Well, my daughter is going to be Galinda from Wicked, and so I will be Elphaba, which some of you may know I have done the full Elphaba before, and I wasn't planning on going green again tonight, but she asked for it, so I probably won't contour and do makeup, but I think I'm going to do the full green, because it's going to be dark and raining, and I put glasses and a wig on anyway. No one's going to be able to see it, so I'm just going to paint it green and leave it at that.
Right. You know what? That's a very popular outfit choice this Halloween season.
Isn't it? And what about you? Are you going to dress up for Halloween?
Yes. Well, this week we did a really fun community concert at Foster High School, and we played this really cool Revueltas piece called Redes Suite, and very dark, mysterious movie music, very fun, kind of tricky to count, but really, really cool music. And then we're playing Coraline last night and tonight. Kind of a sparse horn part. It's me and Mark, so I'm playing second horn, get a little bit of some low. I do get some low A's.
Spooky.
Oh my gosh, it's spooky, it's creepy and fun, but we do get to dress up, and so I will be going as Mr. Incredible.
You found a costume.
I did. I'm very excited.
I can't wait for the pictures. What is Mark going to be?
He's just going to wear like an afro and a fedora.
Wait, that's what he wore last night. Yeah. Okay.
I texted Danielle, I'm like, is this anything?
I thought it was like a years old picture from like our 80s concert.
No, but maybe that's where the outfit is from. We'll post a picture right here.
He has like one wig, and that's like all he knows. I should have given him his riffraff headpiece.
Maybe. Well, he's looking great, and we're having a lot of fun.
I'm going to give it to you before you leave today, so you can...
Okay, perfect.
Just in case, Mark, if you haven't seen our Seattle Symphony Horns Time Warp Rocky Horror Picture Show video, please check it out because it's hilarious. Mark as Riff Raff is iconic, historic. There's nothing like it.
It truly is. That filming of that was so much fun.
So
it was a blast. And then we all do the Time Warp. It is, just YouTube Seattle Symphony Horns Time Warp.
Oh, so good. Okay, so today I'm going to move on to our segment that we like to call
Horn Finds.
This is a little segment where I scour the internet and find some really strange or questionable French horn-related tchotchkes or collectibles. I love doing this in my spare time. So I've collected a few pictures. I wish I had bought all of these, but these are still for sale. So
wow,
one of our listeners could potentially be the proud owner of this next horn.
Oh my goodness.
So I'm going to show this to John.
I'm a little scared.
I picked this one because it's for spooky season. So
right.
This is from, I think this is from Poshmark.
Man, you find all these.
Maybe Mercari, actually. I
can't
remember. And it's for sale for $23, and it's small. So I'm actually like, okay. Corel Vintage Christmas Kitty Cat Brooch, whatever. Tomato, white enamel French horn costume jewelry. So we have a lot going on here. And just...
The costume. Okay. Oh my goodness. Wow. I need to stop being so terrified. That is... All right. So for the audio only listeners, I'm looking at it looks to be a French horn ring, or okay, I guess it is a brooch. And there's like it's upturned. The bell is facing the ceiling, and there's a white cat with ghostly gold eyes and whiskers and accents and adornments peeking out of the bell mysteriously but excitedly.
It's very excited. I feel like this cat like popped out.
Yeah, just whoop. Yeah, it's alarming. It looks as though the construction it was made of some toxic material.
Definitely gonna use something.
Why don't we get into like the horn of it all? Like, is this horn playable? That's kind of the question I have for you.
Let's talk about the anatomy of the horn. There are 3 valves. Well, it's hard to tell if they're keys or valves. It could be both. There is a mouthpiece, which is a plus, honestly. There is a very interesting brace that's going like from whatever this, I don't know what that is.
Right.
To the inside of the bell, which I've never seen that before. That's very creative to put that brace. And it's also very large. It's like as big as half the horn. The slides here are like twisty, which is kind of fun. Like that could be a fun like accent we could try someday. And there's a little mistletoe on the bell. So cute. But the cat is not giving me holiday cheer. It's giving me like skeleton. Like this is like Jack Skellington's cat. The whiskers have been trimmed. It's disturbing. It's just giving me horror. It's giving me Halloween and not Christmas.
Nightmare Before Christmas, though, perhaps.
Yeah,
we could be hitting on something there.
Okay. I see it now. Thank you, John. Yeah, the valves, we often see like valves to nowhere, and I think that's what we're seeing in this. But
so points for that.
At least there are valves, but this cute little kitty could be yours for only $23, I think, on Mercari. So go search for Corel Vintage Christmas Kitty Cat Roach White Enamel French Horn Costume Jewelry. It has 2 likes. So anyway,
is one of them you?
No.
Oh,
so there are 2 other people out there who said,
"Oh my god, wow!" Yes, I want to see more of this.
So cute.
Wow. Well, shall we get into the topic of the day?
Let's do it.
How to get from note to note on the horn.
Last week we talked all about how to make a sound, setup. I'm sure if you haven't heard that episode, please go back and listen to it, because we will be referencing everything from previous episodes as we go. But yeah, we talked about how to make a sound, and I think one of the mysteries to unlock on the horn for every student is how to move from one note to another. So often I will ask students to answer this question just as a sort of curious thing, to ask them, how do you change notes? How do you get from one note to another? Like, how do you go from C to E? And they usually look really confused, and then normally someone will say something about like more air, and someone will say something about like maybe squeezing your lips, which is like obviously not true, but like, yes, that will change a pitch, but that gives you a lot of information about what that student has going through their head as they're playing. How are they thinking about changing notes? And probably they're not thinking about it, which is something to remedy. So we're going to talk today in really, really detailed, laid out terms about how exactly we get from one note to the next.
Yes, I cannot wait to get into this. Like you said, like this air, when I first, one of my students' parents, I love it when parents actually sit in on lessons because it gives students another coach through their practice. And so this parent asked, well, how do you play higher notes? And my first guidance thing was just to say, well, like blow faster air, blow like your air with more force. And even my own language, I have come since then to realize is not exactly what I'm thinking about when I'm changing notes. And for me, it's really automatic, and in all the other internal things that are happening, I've finally found words for it. But I want to hear your opinions first. So I feel like we should start with major step, or like a major second, minor second, like just by step.
Yeah. I always like to start small. I think that's always the good thing to do because it's all the same in general, but let's just keep it small. Let's just do like whole step or, well, actually, I don't know. Now that I think of it, I think we need to start with the harmonic series.
Okay.
So maybe we're going to start with a partial.
Very good. Well, now, what is a partial?
Is a partial. So we are going to talk today a lot about the harmonic series. So if this is new for you, I'm so excited because the harmonic series, I am obsessed with it. Anyone who knows me knows that I am obsessed with the harmonic series. The harmonic series is the true fundamental of all brass instruments, not just the French horn, but all brass instruments, all sound.
All
Literally
sound.
every sound, the sound of my voice, the sound of like the horn honking outside. It's all resonating on this pattern. So the harmonic series is a pattern of vibrations, patterns of frequencies that exists in nature. It's just this. I remember learning about it in physics and being like, "Oh, that's fun. I play the French horn."
Right. Oh my God. The harmonic series of a closed tube or open tube. There's a lot of debate whether or not the horn is a closed or open tube. I believe it's closed because the lungs.
Okay.
If we technically there is a stoppage.
And there's a stoppage. Interesting.
So.
Okay, that's fun. You can talk more about that. To be honest, I didn't get a great education even in high school. So, but the harmonic series is a pattern, and when you blow into a French horn and do the things that we're going to talk about how you change notes, you will get only a specific pattern of notes. That is exactly the same pattern on any different valve combination. And that is our fundamental. So we press down our keys, and when you're learning the horn, you're often given like a scale book and a fingering chart. And so you start just wiggling these valves around and trying to play a scale. But the real meat and potatoes of the horn is the harmonic series, because when we play, no matter what valves we're pushing down, no matter what pattern or notes we're playing, we are always playing on a harmonic series. And when we press down a valve, we're switching to a harmonic series, and we change the valve combo. We're going to change the length of tubing we're blowing through, and we will get a different harmonic series. So we are always somewhere on a harmonic series, and I think the more that we can tap into that and understand that to a deep level as horn players, the better we'll be able to approach the instrument and have it work for us and with us.
Fantastic. Well, shall we get into some demonstration?
Let's do it.
Okay.
My horn's cold now, of course.
Mine too.
We're in my garage.
And so this student that we met last week, this student that hadn't played a note for the first time, they spent all week learning how to make a sound on the horn.
I love this theoretical
pretend student, the Hornpod student, the student that literally listens to this podcast to learn how to play.
A name.
Oh yeah, okay.
We'll think about it.
Poddington.
Poddington.
We'll workshop that name. But what are you instructing them to do first?
Yes. So what I want first for a student to learn about the horn, I will demonstrate for them what the harmonic series sounds like so that they can, in fact, know what it is. So this is the pattern of the harmonic series. I'm not going to do the fundy, but, well, I'll give it a try for fun.
Oh, yeah. Oh my God, that was
That's your real fundamental.
That's incredible.
I'm doing B flat because I just feel like
Right.
it's like a cozy harmonic
It is,
series.
yes.
So I'm gonna play the harmonic series pattern for you now. And yes, it can go a little lower down to the fundy, or it can go higher and keep going and going and going. But that's kind of our general French horn range harmonic series pattern. So I would demonstrate it for them first so they can know sort of what that pattern sounds like.
Fabulous. Well, one thing that I heard that I will encourage everyone listening to practice is this idea of like a portamento pop.
Ooh.
So when we are doing these exercises, these harmonic series, going fundamental or, going partial to partial, what we're listening for is this bend and snap. You hear that sudden just burst of volume when Danielle buzzes and the horn just slots the next partial into place. That's something that we're listening for all the time when we're practicing our fundamentals. That's a key component to make sure that your air and your buzz are working together efficiently to navigate to that next partial.
So, yes. And so when I start to describe to a student how I actually am going to get from one note to the next, the first thing I want to talk about is air, because that's all I ever talk about. But the air is sort of understood at this point because we've talked about creating a sound. So the air is going to be constant and it's going to be consistent. And what really is going to change from one note to the next is our vowel shape, the shape of the inside of our mouth, our tongue position. That is actually what makes you go from one note to another on the horn. And that's why so often children are confused, or I'm confused sometimes. You're pushing down.
I just learned this. I just figured out the words for this like this year, really.
So really, like, you're pushing down valves and wondering like what's happening. And like the horn doesn't do anything when you press down a valve. It's just changing the length of the tubing. So you have to create that different shape of the inside of your mouth in order to create a different pitch, because it's going to manipulate your air. You talked about this a little bit last week, the tongue position in the high range, and how it makes your air move faster and more direct and in this different direction. So what we want to do is really get them connected with the feeling of changing your vowel shape while you're blowing air. So we want to say the vowels. So E-O. But then you notice the second that you tell a student to say E and O, that E-O, and if you're not watching, you can't see it, but my lips are moving a lot. And that it can be recipe for disaster. So really fun.
Added tension.
Yes, exactly. Like we don't want that smile just because you're going high. That's going to make it even harder to play high note. So I like this little fun exercise where you put your finger on your lip, like really relaxed lips, just like you're going to make an embouchure. And you put your finger over your mouth, and then you say, without moving your outside lips, you're going to say, oi, 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 oi.
I love that so much. I want to try. Oi, oi, it's...
And you
it's wonderful.
Feel that movement, how much the tongue can move up and down and what it feels like for that to happen. Because that is what you're going to be doing when you're playing the horn and changing pitch and getting from one register to another or even a half step. There has to be a little bit of change. And what John was talking about with that pop, that little bend and snap, which I'm obsessed with.
And snap.
I feel like I've never thought about that before, and it's like so perfect.
So good.
The reason that you hear that snap is because you are bending, you are changing your vowel shape in a very consistent way to gliss, basically, which we'll do on the mouthpiece in a minute. And you are going to bend the note as far as it can possibly go in that slot, that partial, which I forgot to explain, lol. And you're bending it so far until eventually it's going to pop into the next partial. So John's going to demo it. There it is. So good. And so
I love doing that. I love hearing players play that. It's like it's meditative for me. It's very satisfying.
So satisfying. And if you hear a smooth transition between notes, like I don't know if I can do it, but I'll try. Or something, if you hear, it's really, I don't know how to
like
do
a
it.
lackadaisical.
Yeah, if it's not giving you that pop, then that means that what's happening is you're backing off on the air in between this note change,
exactly.
which is like key. So here, let's do it. So if I'm explaining it to you, I would usually start on the downward because I think it's a little bit easier to comprehend the downward. Yeah. So we are going to start on maybe a G or an E or something. And we're going to bend the pitch down with our throat and tongue position. Yes. So good. And I would always have to remind them, I don't have to remind John because he knows how to do it, but to continue blowing your air, because this, I think, is the crucial thing that you have to learn in this exercise is you have to learn how to blow through the note change. Because I think almost every horn player or student is like even if it's the tiniest bit, there's like a backing away from those transitions in between notes.
A hesitation. And
it's just ever so slight because if you try this, and I hope that you're all at home having your horn out and trying this right now, it is very weird and uncomfortable to blow air into something when it's like it's horrifying, right? It's a terrible, that was...
Like in between the partials.
The in-between moment is very uncomfortable right before it snaps into like this perfection.
And that's because they say the horn is the greatest teacher of all because it will tell you when you are out. If you can listen, it will tell you when you are out of the center where your notes lie. It won't give you that full resonance when you are so far bent in one way or another out of the center. And this is one thing that I like to test students on too. It's how can you actually control the bend enough and not even go to the next partial. That's kind of step 2. But one really fun exercise is to try like a half bend and then a full bend to that next note and really get that pop. And you can hear how the note starts to like shear and get really unstable. The closer you get to that pop, and then that snap, and you get this satisfying, resonant, gorgeous sound.
Yes, and you have to blow through it. So this is a great exercise to do to sort of train yourself to get comfortable blowing air through that in between, through all of that like really nasty sounding stuff that happens in between the notes. And this is so crucial because even if you were doing that shift with your valves, you still need to move your air through that change. And it's the difference between sounding sort of like this and like actual connection between your slurred notes. And it just brings a little extra magic, which I talked about a little bit with that listener question last week, that magic of holding someone's attention and playing with intent and intensity. That is how you get that real connection in a slurred passage and how to make a slur smooth. That's
exactly.
how you do a smooth slur.
And you can hear this in vocalists as well. And then I also want to talk a little bit about how this relates to a lot of exercises that singers do too, and how that continuation of air through a sung note can also be beneficial to have your students do. If you have a student sing a passage to you, making sure that their air is connected and flowing, and then have them internalize that and then replicate that on the horn, that can be a quick fix for a lot of issues. And one thing that Danielle just demonstrated, we heard a little bit of that, like that my band director used to call it cutesy air, where you're being cute with the air. Like stop, just blow through. Just don't be like being gentle and hesitant. Yeah, exactly. Or that twa twa.
That's how you get a twa twa.
Well, we are going to take a quick break, and when we come back, we're going to get even deeper into the depths of the notes on the horn. See you in a second.
The Hornpod is brought to you by Genghis Barbie, the world's leading post-feminist pop French horn experience. Check out genghisbarbie.com for recordings, merch, water bottles, t-shirts, experiences, concerts, everything you want to know about the Barbies. Check us out at genghisbarbie.com.
The Hornpod is brought to you by Horn Hippie Media, music, education, and media production solutions. Loving the pedagogy on the pod? Head to hornhippiemedia.com and download the Horn Hippie warm-up routine today. This warm-up features all kinds of exercises from breathing to buzzing to flexibility and even horn player affirmations. Visit hornhippiemedia.com today.
Welcome back. So we are going to talk a little bit more about sort of how to achieve this beautiful pop and snap in your harmonic slur. So I think we should demonstrate on the mouthpiece, because I think, I said that was the fundy fundamental was the harmonic series, but really it's the mouthpiece gliss.
Right.
So we're going to take a step back to last week where we showed you a little bit about a really connected, consistent airflow mouthpiece gliss. So let's hear that again, because when you're doing a beautiful harmonic slur on the outside, on the horn, this is what's actually happening on the inside. Yes, it's so connected. It's so consistent. I'm always using words like unrelenting, consistent, nonstop, constant air, things like that, because we want it to be like one block of air. And if you do that into the horn, John will do the exact same thing that he just did. What I love about the harmonic series, like John just said, is that the horn will show you where those notes lie. And this is how you build actual, really effective, healthy muscle memory, because you can let the horn show you. I love to tell people this, like, I don't know where E is. I don't know where C is. I can't like tell you where it is. But the horn does know because the horn is like this fixed object, right? We are the variable here. So the horn will show you exactly what the mouth shape is, what the air temperature, feel, velocity, all those things that create a note. The horn is going to show you exactly the center of that when you do this harmonic slur exercise. And so then in theory, when you practice these exercises, you land on those notes, you sit on them, you allow your brain some time to rewrite those pathways. When you go to play that note on a piece of music, then your brain will remember that beautiful muscle memory of the center of that pitch. And we won't hear like out of the slot or whatever, it's going to be the healthiest, most resonant version of that note that you can make. And that's what I love about this exercise is the horn will show you, and then you can work with the horn. Like, let the horn show you. You don't have to fight it.
And we've been throwing around a lot of terms, so I want to just get our glossary going real quick. So, partial.
I already forgot.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, so partial is just a stop on the harmonic series. And so we go between our partials, just a little station. And then then when we say slotting or centering, those words are synonymous with the pitch range on the horn. It's not exactly like one little stop on the diode. It's like a little, because, the horn is there's slight variables in the horn, but it's generally fixed too. But there's a slight range of pitch where the horn will resonate at its most beautiful frequency and be that loud, gorgeous, resonant area. And so we call that either the slot or the center of the note. And when you navigate outside the bounds of the center, the horn does not sound as resonant. Danielle, can you demonstrate this? So in the center first. It's easy.
So if we have our center pitch. There's just a few G's. That's just a nice. So if I'm too high in the slot, it's not even really all that different. But you can hear how when it's coming up, it's losing that resonance. Hopefully that is translating.
Yeah, I can hear it here. Absolutely.
It goes from being this wide resonant sound to becoming thinner, more brittle, and also a lot more unstable as well.
Losing overtones as well.
Yes, losing overtones. And same thing when you go too low in that slot. It starts to become more dull.
Yes, there's a dullness to the character. Exactly what I hear in that. Yes. And so when you're coaching students or professional, when you're coaching anyone on horn, it's important to listen out for that. And I want to just quickly take a second for when Danielle said this is such a good way to train your brain where these centers are. I have a lot of students come in and say, why am I not accurate? Like, I want to improve my accuracy. And what you really want to improve is your efficiency and your efficiency to get in between these partials and learn those pathways and practice playing centered. And I feel that this also goes hand in hand with intonation.
100%.
And, and the horn is not, like the harmonic series is not perfectly in tune. Quote unquote. Right. Of course, like perfection is...
Because it is perfectly.
Because it is perfectly. When you are playing in the center, you are perfectly in tune.
The harmonic series is perfectly in tune, but that's for another day.
Oh yes, our Western classical, civilization, deconstruction is going to occur.
As JoJo, my 4-year-old, would say, perfection doesn't exist. Perfect isn't real. Love her.
Love that. Gosh, we need to get her on the pod.
Perfection.
Yeah.
Anyway,
but students will play out of the center and say like, oh well, I'm trying to play like more in tune, and it's like I don't want you trying to stop a dial on your tuner. I want you listening to the sound of the horn. And even that kind of goes hand in hand with intonation practice. I much prefer that you practice intonation with a drone because you're not playing with a tuner. You're playing with a real person that plays a similar instrument with its own idiosyncrasies, and it's important to be able to accommodate. However, I highly suggest that you tune your horn to as close as possible using the harmonic series, and then adjust using your hand only, hand first. Please try to just use your hand only. But sometimes
a little differently.
you can do. Sometimes you can manipulate with like tongue position slightly, but
Yes.
never ever lip. Never like tighten the lip.
You don't want to be doing it with your mouth. But I do. I mean, I am a tongue position adjuster. Right. Depending on the thing, we haven't even talked about this yet, and I feel like it could be a horn hack, but I am a huge fan of alternate fingerings. So-called alternate. I have a bone to pick about alternate fingerings, because they are just fingerings.
Yes.
We should know them all, but
maybe
we'll save that for a little bit.
Let's do it. Okay, that'll be the horn hack. I love that. I love that. So, what is like the most basic exercise that we could start someone with on the harmonic series here?
Yeah, I think it's good to start somewhere comfortable. When I first started kind of learning and experimenting with the harmonic series and kind of rethinking how I approach the horn, and because this is very air-driven and mouth-shape-driven rather than like face-driven, it's just a different way to approach the horn. Rather than playing the horn or manhandling the horn, for lack of a better word, you are kind of allowing the horn to show you things and building that partnership and that muscle memory. So when I first started doing it, I noticed that I wasn't able to play with as big a range as I was when I'm manipulating my lips and things like that. And that is normal because it's new and it's different, and you have to build different muscle because you're used to using certain muscles in your face to create different notes. Some of those muscles that are actually the most efficient ones might not be as strengthened yet. So that is totally normal and fine. So what I really want to get someone comfortable with at the beginning of this kind of exercise is blowing the air across the notes. So often it will be very loud. I feel like, do you find that? Like when you first start, it's like very loud, and that's okay.
Yes.
It reins itself back in eventually.
It's much easier to tell when you're doing it correctly when it's played a little stronger, a little louder.
And I think it's easier to feel that concept of like blowing across the note change. So I will usually start like around their home bass note, like maybe a middle C or something, or a B flat, and just work maybe even the first time we work with it, maybe just within like that perfect fifth, just like that triad, just to really feel and make sure that they're doing it right. And then to try that, so I would start at the bottom on the first scale degree, if you will. And let them sit on it. And then and let them hold that out as well so they can build that muscle memory. And then I would have them come back down. And then maybe have it be all connected, so you're doing all three. And then breathe and come back down. So I would even start with that. If it seems like that's going well for someone, I would bump it up to a whole octave. But generally, I try to stay within that first octave to start.
Right. And it's so important for when working with someone that's just new to something to build those really attainable goals that feel we are achieving something, and you are achieving something. And even if it's just a perfect fifth in that first session, that is fantastic.
Partial.
Or even one partial.
One
just
great
the
slur.
To three, to like a third. Fantastic.
Anyone who's studied with me knows how excited I get when someone does this, right?
Me too. I love it. Oh my gosh. And then you can have them just push down the second valve.
Exactly. Then there you go. Same thing. You just go down one half step. Same exercise, right? And then you would go down to the B flat, to the A flat, maybe to the G and the F sharp. I don't know.
Yes.
I'm a girly. I do the G harmonic series 1 and 3, but I don't do the F sharp. I just what's the point?
Right. It's so unstable. I love
the G is like,
the G is
especially if I'm at work. I'm like, I'm sorry to
I'm not
everyone.
I'm not gonna do that. But oh my gosh. And then when we are so that's like the basic exercise for like a beginner student. So fun. Now let's kind of graduate this student to a college level where we're starting to really develop our low register, and for a lot of students that shift. And so we're crossing into this lower embouchure or this, low set or just a different, lip position going forward, as we're referencing the first episode now, y'all. In the quick synopsis, when we go into the low register, sometimes we push our jaw forward. There's a little bit of compensation that has to occur on the face in order to make the notes sound with a little more ease, we'll say. But when we're using this exercise, and we're going to go ahead and call it just a path exercise, that's portamento, airflow through the horn. A portamento, meaning that like glissy slide or like a slide on a string, where we're getting all of these hyperchromatic pitches in between two notes. So portamento, airflow through horn, path. This is developed by an Argentinian horn player that I will drop in the show notes. I can't remember their name, but like from the early 1900s. So when we're doing path exercises that connect the higher and the lower registers, the lips have to change slight positioning, but the thing that remains constant is the air and the buzz. So no matter what position you're going to, you always can maintain that buzz. Now, Danielle, do you have a visualizer here?
I sure do.
Okay, y'all, here is something to put on the holiday shopping list. So this is a visualizer. It looks like a little lollipop. It has a mouthpiece.
Like a bubble blower.
Or a bubble blower.
Could double as.
Yeah, it really could. If you, in a pinch, you could use this as a bubble blower. But it has a mouthpiece rim attached to a little stick. And you hold it up to your mouth thus. To make a little embouchure, thusly. And when, for me, I have a very like lip focused shift. So for my high register, where my two lips are inside the mouthpiece, you can see how I just very gently, this takes practice, y'all. It doesn't happen in one practice session, but I slide down as my lips just, what do you say, like kiss out into that low register, and my jaw slowly but elegantly moves forward with intent. And on that first run up, I had a little bit of a catch, and so I immediately went back down and tried to gliss with that portamento through that interval.
So if you do this, and if you're doing it on a visualizer, or if you're free buzzing and you hear like if there's some part of the buzz where it stops, there's like a little like
gap.
A gap, or a little like hiccup or something, and that's really important to note and to work through that, because that means that's if you hear it on the visualizer, on your buzz, on the mouthpiece, if you hear that, it's going to affect your actual horn playing. There's nothing in the horn that's going to magically make that smoother or get that buzz to magically be created. So this is why the visualizer and the buzzing is so important for us to be able to hear that and really expose everything, that fundamental exercise.
And the break.
Oh, the break.
Oh my gosh. I loved like learning that term, but the break does not exist. You should be able to play the entire horn, but there is a place on like in your range where you will have to shift a position. And everyone has it. Didn't we speak a little bit about this in episode 1 where there's like a break register?
Yes.
And these exercises are great to cover that. So my break, y'all know it's like between C and G. So C4 and G3. And so you have to buzz very consistently and figure out that airstream, that airflow, to get that good portamento pop between that interval on your break register.
Yes.
And for a lot of horn players, this is the area where they might spend the most time working because
I would say this is where they should spend the most time.
Thank you.
They don't. And when I say they, I mean me up until my master's degree. I was not spending time on that register. And so, I think it's where most people should and need to spend more time. But we have this tendency to not want to lean into the places where we actually need to work. So
where we feel that we're bad, exactly. Where it's like, I don't want to focus on what I'm bad at. I want to sound good all the time.
Yeah, so actually, that's not how it works.
Right, exactly. And now say that was really, really challenging for you. Then try it on a different valve combination and see where take note of where it becomes easier or more difficult. And if that's not giving you enough information, then go to the harmonic, the harmonic series just above that and do that 2-note path. So. That's my break. And so
informative. You can learn so much from the horn.
Just from the horn.
And you have to be listening and paying attention. I think a lot of people, I try to teach this to my students, because I remember when I was younger and I would practice, I didn't really have a full grasp of this concept. I didn't really understand how the horn worked. So it helped when I finally understood that. But also I just had not yet practicing. So you really need to learn the skills of how to practice, of how to listen to yourself, how to be self-critical in a good way and not the harmful way, constructively critical. But really how to listen and feel while you're practicing and to use fundamental exercises and not to just, do a bunch of fancy patterns and play a bunch of hard music. That's fun, but you're not going to get better doing those things. You're going to get better learning how to listen and feel for something that isn't quite right. I like to call it something that came out differently than what you intended. And that means that you must have something that you intended to do. So it's really important to try to build that muscle for young people early. And to not just say to someone, it's my biggest pet peeve, when someone's just just, smooth that out, just play that cleaner. It's
clean it up.
Clean it up. They don't know how to do that. Or just do it again. It's you have to tell them how. How do you play that smoother? How do you clean that up? How do you make a clean articulation? How do you play more accurately, to what you were speaking about earlier. So it's so important to really break it down. I think it would be so helpful when someone is younger to do that and to really give them those tools so they can start, also being their own teacher when they're in the practice room and not just learning once a week and then probably reinforcing bad habits in between.
Right.
We're all very familiar with that in ourselves.
Oh man, we should dedicate an entire episode to practice and and teaching horn and how to coach someone out of that. But we should give an example of that. So say someone, instead of saying clean it up, maybe say the fronts of your notes have burrs on them. How do we fix that? Let's slow it down to quarter tempo and see if you can articulate cleanly on these notes, just 3 in a row or something like that, or even take one note at a time and just get a clean. You start from the
let's do
the building
note.
Block. And
we're gonna talk a lot about how to make a clean articulation. We will do a whole.
We will. Don't worry, y'all. Hit that subscribe button. But. Oh man, there's so many elements to this, but I feel like why don't we shift gears to blowing across notes that move by steps. So when we do press a valve down, say in a scale or in a pattern or a passage that's just moving by one, half step or whole step.
Yeah, because we have to translate this fundamental, the buzzing gliss, the harmonic slur, we have to translate that into valve movement as well, because most of us do play the valve horn these days.
Right.
And so one exercise I like to do, empty all that cold weather water out. One exercise that I like to do for this is to do a little half step slur. It's actually very similar to the exercise that you demonstrated with your half bend. So what you're going to do is you're going to play a half step slur. I start from G to F sharp, and then you're going to bend that slur with your harmonic gliss beauty, and then you're going to do the valve slur again. And what's so fascinating that even though I've done this for probably almost 20 years now, every time I do it, the valve gliss after the little bend is always better, because I think sometimes we just push down a valve and think that that's enough to change the note. So listen to the difference in resonance between the two notes when I don't accommodate for the change in pitch here. So I'm going to slur from G to F sharp without doing anything in my
oral cavity.
Yeah, in my oral cavity. couldn't even get to it that second time. And you hear, like, what do you hear in the F sharp? It's like
it has like a high, like tinny, like the qualities of like a note that is high of its center.
Yeah.
And yeah, it has like a little bit of a nasal quality when not accommodating, just a slight accommodation. And we're talking like millimeters of motion.
It's so small. But if we aren't aware of it and doing that, this happens a lot if someone has like the end of a phrase where you just have to go or something like that, they will often not think about that. You know, you really, even if it's just a half step, you do have to do something with your tongue position. So this exercise is how I like to do it. So I'm going to do a slur and then a tongue position bend and then another slur. See, even still, that last one is always so much better. But it's a good way to kind of remind yourself, even if you've been doing this for decades, just what that really feels like and how much it informs, you know, how you're moving through a chromatic piece of music.
And benefits. And I love this concept of blowing across a note or blowing across a valve change, because when you conceptualize that, even though you were like, there's a throw of the valve, you're going to actually eliminate that like crunch if you are utilizing your air in the correct manner with that gentle push into the next center. Even when you're changing notes using the valves just a half step or a whole step away. I feel like this is like healing me in some way, like because I was like, yeah, like the words weren't like given to me like that in such clear language. So thank you. Wow. Oh my God. Wow. So one exercise that I love to do to test this is it's a simple chromatic exercise. And it literally is just going note to note and ensuring that quality is the same quality, the same like beautiful resonant centered quality between every pitch. And it's literally just going a note at a time. This is something that I like to, it's like a very like freshman year exercise where you are starting to develop that practice habit and that ability to listen, because it forces you to really say, okay, no, I'm putting pause on everything and I'm listening to myself right now. And this is how it goes. We're going to turn off the TV. Yep, turn off the TV for this one. And then we go a half step down from that. And so on and so forth. Isn't that just so satisfying to do?
Trance.
Like, oh my gosh, it is so meditative and beautiful. And if it doesn't sound good, just repeat it again until you are satisfied with the quality.
And if you're feeling like you can't quite get that smooth, go back to the fundamental, go back to the mouthpiece gliss, go back to the harmonic slur. Remind yourself what it feels like to really do it. Yeah, go back to visualizer even. Like whatever that is, and always take it back to that fundamental. I think that's like, well, we won't give it away for the practice episode, but that's really what you want to do, is always be taking it back to like whatever that fundamental version of that exercise is, to feel that and then translate it into music, into valves, into the horn.
Because here's the real kicker. No matter who you are, no matter what your face structure is, you are capable of making a beautiful sound on the horn.
Yes, you are.
So on that note, we're going to take a quick break and we'll be right back. Don't go anywhere. Do you have questions that need answering? Send us an email at Hornpod, that's HORNPOD, at hornhippiemedia.com.
The Hornpod is brought to you by Genghis Barbie. Are you looking for something really fun for the horn player in your life this holiday season? Look no further than GenghisBarbie.com. You can find sheet music, t-shirts, CDs, and even gift cards for that special someone in your life who would love a little more Barbie in their life. GenghisBarbie.com.
Welcome back.
Welcome back. So we wanted to just highlight one thing that we talked about earlier that we think is so crucial to this idea of connection between notes and getting from one note to the next. And John kind of glossed over it, but I really want to highlight this, that the connection of notes is dependent on the continuity of your buzz, right? The buzz cannot be stopped. And that's because we talked about last week, sound is air. Sound is vibrating air. And our air is coming out through our two lips, and those two lips are vibrating together. And that is how we make sound. And so the buzz has to be continuous. And a lot of the time when we lose that little bit of air pressure in between the notes or whatever it is, or if there's too much tension and the buzz stops for any reason, that's when you get an air ball or, a burr in front of a note or whatever it is, the bumpy slur that needs to be smoother. It's because you're losing a little bit of that actual vibration of your buzz. So we wanted to talk a little bit and maybe show a little bit of how to really know that you're connecting those notes together. So in the low register, I think we're going to do a whole low register episode one of these days, but I think it's one of actually the biggest potholes you can fall into in the low range is that your buzz drops because your lips are further apart and the buzz is slower. It's not quite so intense, and so we have it's easier for that buzz to kind of stop. And so it's really important to do some low, I always think chromatic exercises are great. I mean, it's no wonder our exercises today have been harmonic slurs and chromaticism because, that's just, again, very fundamental to what we're doing. So I'm going to do some just chromatic low tones. I like tones instead of notes because it's just makes me think more of the tone that I'm getting.
Oh gosh, they have the same letters too.
Exactly. You just have to do a little switcheroo. So you might do a little something like this. Just a really simple connected slur. And you'll hear the difference between that. And if you are not connecting that with your buzz, it might have a jump in it, or something like that, a little woof or something like that. I don't know. I'm bad at demoing it because I'm I really just want to do it right.
No, this is oh gosh, this is such a good exercise. I also like to maximize this one in the opposite direction where we actually take, you do a balloon swell, and what it's called a balloon swell, where you are going from as softly as you can play to as loudly as you can play and back as quickly as you can. So I don't know if it'll blast the mics, but just having that continuous air while you're forcing air, and this focuses our aperture a little bit while maintaining that buzz and air. But then in the low register, going from
and catching it on that swell.
Yeah, and just catching a swell to the next note.
Ooh, I like that. It's very Jaws.
Yes, very Jaws. It is, or Among Us, for the Gen Zers.
Oh. I don't know what that is, so
love that.
Giving away my age in case it wasn't obvious already.
Well, no. But those are fantastic exercises for checking the buzz consistency and taking it to that fundamental, the most basic quality of buzz and air between that just the two chromatic pitches on the horn, which is, the bass interval that you will encounter.
Yes. And I just want to point out really quick that if that exercise does not work for you, if you try that and you are not able to swell the note like that, I think we may have touched on this last week a little bit, but that gives you a lot of information too about the amount of tension in your embouchure, because if you try to blow that much air that quickly into a tense embouchure, it will do this. You will not be able to do it, even on upper register. I think I demoed that last week. If you're tight and you blow air forcefully, then your mouth shape, your embouchure and lips cannot accommodate that air flowing through. And that is very good information. That's not just ooh, whoops, oops. It's not that. It's get the information from that. That means that something is preventing the air from flowing, and you have to identify what that is.
Yes.
And you have to loosen that up.
You're like Velma and in the Scooby Squad, and you're finding those little clues to solve this mystery. And and oh my God, it was Mr. Jenkins causing my aperture to
Diane
oh my gosh. And that is, I love these. Gosh, I literally am going to go home and practice these exercises. They're so good.
I know, that's a good one. That was
And-
better than mine, which was just like a chromatic scale.
No, it's the same. It can do the same thing, and it's it's so good to just focus that buzz in any register and get those.
Tell us more about the high register.
Oh my God, y'all. Okay, so the big carryover theme from what Danielle said earlier is the tongue position in the mouth when we are doing these harmonic series slurs. Now, as we get into the higher register, the harmonic series, the notes on the harmonic series become closer and closer, infinitesimally closer.
The partials.
The partials,
spoke about
exactly,
earlier.
yes. And so one thing I really like to practice in the high register, I like to start from a place of minimize tension, but we still want to get these pops. And so I will actually have people throw down that trigger to get on the B flat side, here in America. But if you're standing in B flat, and then just to gently try to get these pops just with minimal tension, but utilize that tongue position in the mouth, going from like E, that like pressing of the tongue in the back of your mouth up, or allowing the tongue to change shape in the back while we are buzzing consistently. Exactly. So, and then getting on the horn and trying it out. And for the advanced players, trying to get it faster and faster and higher with that minimal tension.
Without losing that
Without
pop.
losing that pop, exactly. So you hear I'm getting a catch as I'm approaching the double high C. So I need to practice that a little bit.
I cannot do that, listeners.
But like that does
I've never
not.
tried.
Well,
So there you go.
you've never tried. Well,
Never even
how are you
tried.
going to know if you've never tried?
I just got up to concert shtick E, and I was like, I'm good. That's
Right.
all I need.
But you can hear there's very minimal tension in my sound. Of course, playing up there for like a consistent amount of time will cause fatigue. But it's just like tongue position and letting the air fly out.
Yes,
and with
I
the lips
love
in the right position and the right combination of all that, it's going to sound easy. And we're just training those same partials in the higher register. But I don't want you to shy away just because it's a higher note. I want you all to try at least one partial higher each day.
Yes.
That
at
is
least
my
try.
goal.
And if you feel yourself starting to pinch or squeeze to get the next note out, then stop yourself and take it back. Because I think that's something that we do is like we really want to be able to do that note. We want to be able to play as high as we could yesterday when we were doing it with our lips. Take a moment and just trust the process. I always say like trust in the process and don't make the next note come out. Just allow it to come out, doing the process efficiently and in a healthy way. Then you really know you're doing it in that healthy way. And yeah, it might take a day or two to get another note out. I remember I think I was stuck at like G sharp for a really long time. And then eventually I was able to bump it up. So it may not be every day, but at least try. You have to try to see where you're going and where you are at. And
That is such
what
a good.
was I going to say? I
What
had
were you
something
going to
really
say?
important.
Okay, high register. We're doing harmonic series.
Oh, yes.
Just trying-
Okay. One thing that I was reminded of as you did that was this thing that I like to demo for people where this is what the register in which hand position is like really illustrates the importance of having your hand in the bell. Because a lot of the time, unfortunately, like you'll see, especially young kids whose hand is just like chilling out at the edge of their bell in the band class. And it's like, oh my God, like you need your hand in the bell. And when you play the harmonic slurs up in the high register, if you have your hand out of the bell, there's absolutely no definition up there. And all I do is put my hand in the bell. I changed nothing except putting my hand in the bell. And it's like you can suddenly hear the definition of the high register. So it's one of those little tweaks that should have been my horn hack. hand in the bell.
Right. Put your hand in the bell.
Put your hand in the bell. But truly, like, it's so important. The hand position is so important. It's another thing that young people sometimes don't think about. And when you're looking at a student, you can't always see what their hand position is. So it's important to make sure that you're checking, if you're a teacher of some kind, to make sure the hand is in there so that it works effectively.
Yes, and we will do literally another episode on hand position and stopped horn. Oh my gosh. Well, I think that's a great place to wrap and get into our horn hack and our user question of the week, our burning horn questions. So
I think we're going to start with
burning horn questions. Oh, I love this section.
We had a question this week that came in on the pod. And tell us again what the email address is if you want.
Yes, if you would like to submit a burning horn question, email it to hornpod@hornhippiemedia.com.
You can also DM us on Instagram or leave a comment on YouTube even. We can look at that. I love this username, Skirt Enthusiast, obsessed. What is the harder part of the horn, the physical or mental challenges?
So good.
So good.
What is harder? I'm going to say mental challenges.
Easily.
The mental challenges easily because it's just human nature. We play an instrument that it tests us frequently, daily, if you will. It's I feel like there's a personality type that gravitates toward the horn, and it's like perfectionist, attention deficit disorder, like all of these, like, but that's like what the beautiful thing about the horn is, because we love the sound so much that we are in it for that long haul and that long like journey, and we also are very humbled by the instrument. Everyone has had a humbling moment on this instrument, and
trust us.
Yeah, trust me. Oh my God, I've had plenty of moments like that. But the make or break moment, I will say, is when you are like deciding to make it into a career, and if you do not go in with the mentality of it's almost like committing yourself to like free falling is what it feels like. If you are committed to becoming a professional musician, it is a risk. It's like kind of a, there's a very low like job, like acceptance rate to low job, to how many players there are in a pool versus like how many jobs there are available. The statistics are a little bit, limited, but you have to just put yourself out there and be so brave and really like own your courage and own that you have the ability and you have the, like, you can do this, and you have to tell yourself that you can, and you have to believe that you can. Yeah. But sometimes
you really have to believe it.
Sometimes you have to build that belief.
Yes.
And sometimes it is looking in the mirror and saying, I am good at the horn. And if that doesn't make you like tear up a little bit, like when you look at yourself and you tell yourself that, then, you
can just say, I'm good enough. I'm enough. Like where I am is okay. Even just to acknowledge where I am right now is good. It's fine. It's good enough. It's great.
And you are every day in every way, you are getting better and better. Yeah. That is a really good one. But also a lot of horn player affirmations in the Horn Hippie warm-up routine. Check them out. They are so good. And it's like one of my students told me that they make them cry. And I was like, that is like so beautiful, but like so, oh my God, I'm like getting emotional thinking about it. Wow.
I know, it's so sweet.
I was like, yes, you can do this. You are so good. Yes. You literally can do this. And I'm so proud. I'm so proud of all my students, by the way. Just like, oh my God. Wow.
I can't believe I am like talking to someone about the horn and I'm the one not crying. Like this is crazy. This has never happened before.
Yeah.
Everyone always has. I will say also just about that belief thing, because that's so important. And I feel like a lot of people will hear that and be like, like how?
Yeah, right.
And because sometimes we can be so down on ourselves about the horn, because in my opinion, I think it has to do with the frustration of not knowing what to do. And that's what we were talking about earlier with like horn pedagogy and horn teaching and horn learning as a student, is like often like we just don't know what to do. And that I think is where the frustration comes from. Right. Because I remember just being so pissed, like kicking the wall, like wanting to throw my horn across. Yes. I know people have thrown their horns down. I know it. When the student comes in and they're like, it fell off my chair. Or me in 5th grade being like, Oh, no. I had played the flute. This is so funny. I played the flute and I was like literally in my room, in my house, practicing the flute, then hit my flute on the ground because I was so mad. I just hit it on the ground and it bent. And then I like put it in the case and went out to the living room and I was like, my flute's broken. I think I dropped it. It's like,
I think I dropped it.
I totally thought I was like getting one past them at that time. I was like, clearly you heard me practicing, probably made some noise and then like hit the floor with my flute. Anyway, don't do that. All that is to say, like, I am so familiar with like the frustration that you can feel when something on the horn is not going the way you want it to go. And first of all, I always tell the students, like, number one, that's important because it means you care. It's very important that you care and you have an idea of what you want to do and you're not able to do it right now. And that's also okay. And that in and of itself means that you can do it because you care and you're working on it and you feel emotions about it. Like, that's important. And that will take you, that will take you far. And so, for me, at least personally, once I had a better understanding of how the horn worked and I started to really analyze and think about what I was doing to play, and then I could learn how to tweak it and change it and investigate and experiment, then my practice became so much more exciting because it was like I was experimenting and, learning, and I had a lot of curiosity and I had options, and I wasn't just sitting in a room playing something over and over and kicking the wall, which again, I'm very familiar with. But to me, like, I haven't felt that feeling of frustration in so long. And I think it's because I just have this different approach, and it did take some time to build that. It's not like I had that. And it's not like I never feel frustrated. Like, obviously things don't always go my way, but that I think is kind of the normal, like, horn, the normal kind of funny thing about playing the horn, where you're just like, things happen and it makes no sense sometimes, and you're like, whatever. But to those out there who feel like they're struggling with that mental component of it, we all understand. We're all in the same boat. You are not the only one, by all means. And like, give yourself grace, like, accept where you are, be honest about what you can and can't do, and know that that's okay. There's nowhere you should be. You just eliminate should from this part. I'm totally going on a tangent here, but
I love it. This is so important to hear.
The should thing is like, there's nothing you should be able to do. Just because so-and-so can do a thing, that doesn't mean that you should be able to do that, or you should be able to play this piece at this age. You should be able to play this note at this age. Where you are is where you are, and that's fine. Like, and once you accept that and you're honest about it, then you can actually start progressing and moving forward. And it's like,
And it feels so good. And to like get that sound, that all these things that we're talking about, it's like I'm just remembering that time when it didn't work so easily for me. And it's like that freshman year in the practice room, and just like you feel like, oh wow, I am like not on the level, and your standard all of a sudden is so much higher than you think. And it's like it gets it's a little scary sometimes, but it's important to just to be aware of where you are. And then I love just like looking back and like how far people have come, and like the strides that you make in like a year, 4 years of college. That's like it's gigantic, the leaps and bounds that you guys make. So wow, really good question. Although the physical side can be a little taxing, it's always important to stretch and important to like take care of your body, hydrate.
Think about what you eat before you play. That's important.
Carb up a little bit, get a high protein diet, all those good. Yeah, you got to have energy to play. It is a physical, like athletic thing, especially
it is
breathing.
And I think that, like, I like to say this about the horn. Like, I don't think the horn is easy, but I do think it's really simple. Like, it's so simple. It's so logical. So it's not easy to do what we do on the horn, but it is actually really, really simple. So if you can just like lock in on that and learn it, understand it, and do these fundamental exercises like we did today, the harmonic slurs, and to really understand the horn and let it work with you. Like, it's just amazing how much of that mental barrier you can overcome with that.
And find the fun in your fundamentals.
Oh my God.
Oh my God, the thesis of the pod. Oh, it's healing the horn world. I love it. Oh, I love it so much. Okay, so now our horn hack of the week. Danielle, this is all you.
I feel like I talked way too much this episode.
No, it was so good. It was so good.
I tend to do that. Anyone who knows me knows I'm going to talk about it. So, horn hack of the week. So the horn hack, it's funny because these horn hacks are not necessarily like it's nothing new in a way, but it is something that I think not every horn player is utilizing, and especially young people. It's very important to start learning this stuff now. My horn hack of the week is so-called alternate fingerings.
Thank you.
I'm going to put that in air quotes because, like I said earlier in this episode, I don't believe that there are like standard correct fingerings and then there's these ones that are extras. I think we need to know all the fingerings. We need to understand what partial of the harmonic series. We didn't really talk about that, but that's okay. Because there are different intonation and timbre tendencies of different partials on each harmonic series pattern. And so it's important to be familiar with those. And when you do the slurs, you will hear them and feel them and notice them. And that's the best way to learn it rather than being told what they are.
Right.
But, we have like our seventh, is going to be very low. And the third, major third, gosh, I'm going now.
So like, okay, let's just do open F horn. I know this is going to be a quick demo. So naturally, like the octave, that E, whatever harmonic that is, I don't know the exact number off the top of my head, so bad. But that E is, you can think of it like the E is that third, and thirds naturally, when they're in tune, they sound like what, negative 16 cents flat? I should have researched it. I know, we'll throw up a chart or like a video to like some harmonic series, but it's important to know those and just be aware of them when you're choosing which fingering to use on.
So just the difference between these two E's. I'm going to do the E, which is this partial, versus if I throw down thumb and two, which is a different partial, and so it has a different intonation. So you can hear the difference, and I'm kind of trying to exaggerate it a little bit. But you hear those different, so there's different choices you can make about which fingering you're using. A more glaring example would be like A. So the second space A, the fingering for A is thumb 1 and 2. Like, not my favorite fingering. But there's also a million other fingerings for A. You can put down thumb and 3, which is a very low fingering. And that fingering, as different as those sound, that fingering can be great if you're playing in the key of F major, and that's your major third, or if you're playing a seventh, if that's the seventh of a chord that you're playing, which we could do a whole episode about intonation. We should do an intonation.
What is like the episode count, like the mention of episodes that we're about to do?
100
we're definitely at about like 100.
We're going to have to start recording like every day.
Literally.
So knowing your alternate fingerings, it can also really help you not only with intonation and timbre, but it can help you if you're doing like a technical passage, and you can throw down an alternate fingering that's easier to move your fingers, whatever. I didn't say that well, but you know what I mean. If you need to just use a different fingering for something technical, that can also be a great way. And also just know your alternate fingerings, because you know what? I have had it happen twice where my horn like broke or a valve stuck or something during a performance. One time my key broke off on my old horn, not this one, but my old horn, a key broke off right before I had to play Mahler 1. I think I was playing 4th. And it was like, okay. And so I duct taped the key on, which was hilarious. But I was like, I'm going to do all my alternate fingerings because I'm not trying to press that key down. And then I had it happen once during a Genghis Barbie show, which is like, oh my God. I had I think it was also my third valve stuck. And I was like playing something that I think was in like E major. So it was like a lot of third valve. No. And I was like, okay, here we go, baby. So I pulled out every fingering you could ever imagine. It was amazing.
Well, that's the fantastic horn hack of the week. Oh my gosh.
Learn your fingerings, every single one. B flat horn too. B flat horn, F horn.
Yes, B flat horn, F horn.
Everything. You got to have that in your wheelhouse.
Love that. All right, y'all. Well, thank you so much for joining us for this episode of the Hornpod. We'll be back in your ears next week. And what's our topic going to be?
Oh my God, we don't even know.
Oh my gosh, it's going to be a surprise for you and us. But it will be informative and it will be fun. So we'll see you next time. Bye.
Bye.